Global warming, is it real or a myth? For the last few decades, there has been many debates about global warming. Most scientists believe in the reality of it. It is happening at an accelerated rate. Others claim to have proved that it's an exaggerated view. There is no such thing as global warming. In this video, I will present you with what I gathered through my own web research and other sources. I'm not a scientist or a qualified researcher to make any claims one way or the other. By the end of this short presentation, you will have the opportunity to make your own opinions as to where you stand. I do, however, qualify as a concerned earthling, whose contribution will either affect or enhance the world I leave behind to my children, grandchildren, and later generations. Are the effects of global warming really that bad? Short answer, yes. Global climate change has already had observable effects on the environment. Glaciers have shrunk, ice on rivers and lakes are breaking up earlier, plants and animal ranges have shifted, and trees are flowering sooner. Effects that scientists have predicted in the past would result from global climate change are now occurring. Loss of sea ice, accelerated sea level rise, and longer, more intense heat waves. What are the causes and contributing factors to this trend of global warming? Deforestation and land development. Deforestation is a major contributor to global climate change and occurs for a number of reasons. Not only does deforestation take place to meet the demands of some of the previously mentioned activities, but also in response to the timber industry and land development efforts. Trees are important for controlling the climate because they remove carbon dioxide from the air, produce oxygen, and help maintain temperatures. When forests are removed from the earth, carbon dioxide level increase. Reducing deforestation practices is a top priority of many countries, particularly those with significant expanses of rainforests. Strict controls have been set in place to increase monitoring and produce geo-reference maps, both important in stopping deforestation. In addition, governments are promoting land protection through various acts, thus preserving large areas of forest land. Animal agriculture. Producing livestock leads to environmental degradation. Animal agriculture contributes to methane and carbon dioxide to the atmosphere through feed production and processing and waste fermentation and decomposition. In addition, the space required to raise livestock and its food results in deforestation around the world. Reduction in greenhouse gas emissions from animal agriculture can be obtained by more utilizing up-to-date technologies. In addition, best practices policies they are already defined are not being implemented by all livestock agriculture industries. These policies include more efficient feeding techniques, breeding, and waste management. Crop cultivation. Cultivating of fruits, vegetables, and grains may not sound as if they are activities that could contribute to global climate change, but in fact, they are very much. Not only does food agriculture emit greenhouse gases, but it also leads to deforestation in order to produce greater tracts of agriculture's land. Rice cultivation, for example, produces a significant amount of methane into the atmosphere. Applying fertilizers to crop is also responsible for releasing nitrous oxide. Governmental policies around the world are working to reduce emissions caused by crop cultivation. Some ways to achieve this include reduced application of fertilizer and organic farming. Tax incentives have founded new technologies that are able to trap methane. This trapped methane is then used to produce energy or is burned in a flare. Transportation. Private, public, and freight transportation are all crucial for the trade, manufacturing, and transportation of people for work or travel. However, emissions from vehicles, trains, ships, airplanes make up about 14% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. Emissions are high because they rely on petroleum, which have been refined into gasoline. When gasoline burns, it emits carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. Personal vehicles are thought to be the biggest contributor in this category. Alternatives to fossil fuel burning vehicles are becoming increasingly available. Biofuel can reduce emission by up to 80%. Fuel-efficient vehicles use significantly less gas, and electric cars do not rely on petroleum to run. Some city and state governments have implemented work scheduling during off-peak hours, which reduces the amount of time the vehicle is running in traffic jams and emitting pollution. Other individuals choose to take a public transportation to reduce the number of cars on the road. Manufacturing. The manufacturing industry contributes 21% of all greenhouse gas emissions globally. It contributes to climate change by releasing large amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmospheres. Numerous factories have been found responsible for this, from car plants to steel producers. Some governments have attempted to reduce the effect of the manufacturing industry by offering tax incentives based on reduction of greenhouse gas creation. Manufacturers could upgrade technologies within the factories to cut energy use in greenhouse gases. Other governments have introduced cap and allowance trading system. This type of system functions by setting a limit on emission and permitting low greenhouse gas emitters to sell their excess other big emission producing companies. Electrical power generation. In the United States, production of electricity contributes 30% of the country's greenhouse gas emissions. This is because the majority of electricity is produced by burning fossil fuels such as coal. It creates the demand for increasing mining endeavors as well. The smoke rising from power plants contains carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, among other gases. In order to reduce this emission, government have provided tax incentives to encourage power plants to update their technologies. In addition, many companies have invested in renewable energy such as wind, air, and solar power as an alternative to fossil fuel burning. We already see the initial signs of climate change, and fires are part of it, said Dr. Amber Soha, a biomass burning expert in the National Institute of Aerospace in Hampton, Virginia. Recent wildfires across some 22 regions of Russia, blanketing the country with dense smoke and in some cases destroying entire villages. In the foothills of Boulder, Colorado, wildfires exacted a similar toll on a smaller scale. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Thousands of wildfires, large and small, are on the way at any given time across the globe. Beyond the obvious immediate health effects, the biomass burning is part of the equation of global warming in the northern latitudes. Wildfires actually are a symptom of the Earth warming. Research suggests that a hotter Earth resulting from global warming will lead to more frequent and larger fires. The fires release particulates, tiny particles that become airborne, and greenhouse gases that warm the planet. What is being done to reduce greenhouse emission? Because greenhouse gases are mobile and move to affect people, places, and climate all over the world. Reducing this emission must be an international effort. Several international treaties have been implemented over the years to encourage greenhouse gas reduction. Some of these include the Montreal Protocol, the Kyoto Protocol, the Cancun Agreement, and most recently 197 countries have signed in the Paris Agreement. This treaty allows member nations to define how they would decrease emissions and requires 5-year reporting to ensure compliance. Thank you for watching, and feel free to leave your comments and opinions. I greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe and help me continue making this type of videos. Thank you again for visiting my channel, One Message to Burn. Please feel free to leave any suggestion for any other videos.